Before we get started, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and press the notification bell so that this way you know when I upload. What is going on, everybody? Today we're starting off 2021 with 5 things I want to see from the tech industry and 5 things I don't want to see. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first thing that I want to see is foldables that fold but don't leave a crease behind. There was a foldable device by the name of the Oppo Find N. Now, this device managed to fold kind of like a piece of paper in a way, which is how it folded the screen. So it folded, but it didn't develop a crease as significantly as the Samsung devices typically do. In fact, this device folded in a way that you didn't even notice the crease after a long time of use. Number 2 is a stronger emphasis on making video chat better overall. Now, phones tend to get hot, and when they get hot, they tend to drain battery a lot faster. And this happens a lot when you're on a Zoom meeting, for example. Which is why whenever I'm on a Zoom call or in a meeting on video, I usually like to use my laptop because my laptop will not drain battery faster. In fact, it actually runs it much more efficiently. But that brings me to another point, is laptop cameras need to get better. Number 3, I want public Wi-Fi to get better. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. Sometimes when you go to a coffee shop or you go to a restaurant or you go to a store or whatever, some spots in that store or restaurant or whatever, their Wi-Fi is not as good as in other spots of the restaurant. So if you went from one side to the other, some spots might not have good Wi-Fi in that restaurant. And also, here in Elizabeth, New Jersey, we have what is called Optimum Emergency Wi-Fi. Basically, you can log in with your phone or whatever device, and you're allowed 60 minutes on Optimum's network. And sometimes when you're walking around, the Wi-Fi will tend to drop, and when you're streaming or you're downloading something, it's just not a good experience overall. So number 3, I want to see public Wi-Fi get better. Number 4 is electric scooters. And I want electric scooters to get better. Basically, I want them to have better battery life. Now, the cheaper ones will get you about 4 hours, but 4 hours is not going to be good enough to allow you to do Uber Eats or DoorDash or one of those food delivery apps and make decent money. One honorable mention, Apple, please bring the USB Type-C to the iPhone. Thank you. And number 5, I want to see YouTube bring back the dislike count. And the reason why is because the dislike count is actually very helpful. The dislike count allows me to see if the YouTube video is what it says that it is. Basically, the title and if they're talking about that exact thing or that thumbnail or whatever it is. I want to see YouTube bring back the dislike count. And now here are the 5 things I don't want to see this year in tech. Number 1, I do not want to see candy bar phones go away. We have grown accustomed to candy bar phones, and we love candy bar phones. However, foldables are gaining steam, and rightfully so, because it is the next step in smartphones. However, with foldable phones, they tend to bring bigger screens, which is not a bad thing, but they also tend to bring more parts. And more parts means that it's more susceptible to breaking down. What I mean by that is that, for example, the Galaxy Fold, the first one, the crease, the fold part, that had a lot of sand, a lot of dust, and a lot of small particles getting into it. Thus, Samsung had to recall that device for that reason, and they had to send out a fix. And they did. But the problem here is that that's a problem that did not have to happen because there's, again, more parts, which means it's more likely to break. Number 3, I want to see fewer manufacturers leaving the mobile space, not more. In fact, I don't want to see any mobile manufacturers leaving the mobile space. And the reason being is because, again, customer choice. When I walk into a store, I want to see a whole bunch of phones that I could choose from, not just 3 from 3 different companies or just plain 2 companies or whatever. I want to see choice. I want customers to have variety. Having fewer phone manufacturers leaves the customer out to dry, and that is never a good thing. Number 4, I don't want to see the chip shortage continue. Now, the chip shortage has been going on since the beginning of COVID-19, and as a result, it's been harder to buy graphics cards, GPUs, CPUs, whatever. And also, it's been a lot harder to buy the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X or Series S. In fact, to this day, they still don't have a way to be able to walk into a store and buy the consoles. You have to buy them online, and when you do, they're still sold out. So you have to wait for drops, and at some point, that's got to end. At some point, the demand has to meet the supply, if that makes sense. And number 5, I want to see confusing smartphone names die. Looking at you, Sony. Stop with the Xperia 1, Xperia 2, Xperia Z, Xperia LE, Xperia this, Xperia that. Customers don't appreciate confusion, and that's why a lot of cell phones from Sony are not selling. Another thing, Sony, I would like to see you sell cell phones in the US. Thank you very much. But back to the point of confusing smartphone names. This leaves a lot of confusion on the customer's part, and also it leaves confusion on the part of the carriers who have to sell these phones, because they gotta put in all these different names. They gotta tell the customers about these things. This is confusing all the way around, Sony, and it needs to stop. And I'm looking at you, Sony. And those are the 5 things that I want to see from tech in 2022, and those are the 5 things I don't want to see from tech in 2022. That is it for this video. Now be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow the Discord, follow the Twitch, also follow me on Twitter. All the links will be down below. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.